Okay, so today's video is going to be on the Hammerhead. This is the second version of this build. Wasn't really happy with the first version of the build. I'm going to quickly show you a brief slideshow of what that originally looked like. Yeah, as you can kind of tell, I wasn't really happy because it didn't look armoured enough or as menacing enough. The idea being is the character who owned this was a lone wolf type character, and he needed a vehicle that literally looked like it could survive and hold its own with just one guy driving it against whatever the apocalypse could throw at it. So yeah, unfortunately there was a lot of poor attempts at the armour, such as the wheel armour, as you could see, the rear bumper, the front bumper, the window armour especially. Yeah, so yeah, as you can kind of tell in this final version now, the bumper is a lot more built up. The wheel armour here, there's actual armour on the wheels and armour around this wheel well. This was done mostly to cover up because I had to remove the original armour and take a large chunk of the wheel arch out, so this was done to kind of cover that up, but also to give it a bit more of an armoured look, a bit like the vehicles in Death Race, which is kind of like the theme of the next model I'll show you at some point. Dual 50 cal machine guns, armor plated hood. Don't really like this hood because the scoop and the machine guns really just block off anything your driver would ever be able to see. I left the car a bit. I mean, if you're thinking, if you're driving this thing and you're looking out through these vents here, you really don't see out because of this scoop and this machine gun. This will probably be the only car I'll ever do dual machine guns like this, as I realised these work for planes when you can tilt, but if you've ever played GTA, you know these dual, I think it's coaxial machine guns, don't really work because you can only ever hit something on one of them and the other one just fires off into the air. So I'll probably only mount like two next to each other, a bit like again in Death Race. Also nice rocket pod on the top with multicoloured rockets. Sorry, I'm just hitting everything today. The idea being with the rocket pod is it's obviously been salvaged from a military vehicle, hence it's partially damaged but then being repaired. As you can see, the arm is supposed to be a bit more tough on the doors. Obviously the arm has been made of different materials. Some anti-border spikes on the top here, just to stop anyone from climbing around the back. I'm just going to open the door a bit just to show you off this thing. This actually hinge works, should I say. Yeah. The idea being that the driver could open that hatch and either shoot or just talk to someone he wants to talk to. And that, I'll show the interior in a minute. Also, another reason for getting rid of the armour that was going off the wheels, it had like a sideboard here that was literally covering up the side pipes, and I just thought it ruined the look because it had these awesome side pipes, but you just couldn't see them because of the old armour. Right. There's a little spare wheel here, it's more cosmetic, just in case someone rear-ends it. Initially, I might just show you a screenshot, it was going to have a tarp with just junk in the back, but I held off because I felt after armouring up the car completely, it just felt stupid to have the back end completely exposed. So I decided to armour up the rear end as well. Plus, I just didn't want to put the original bumper back, the original boot lid back on or trunk lid back on, because the chassis plate on this model kit goes together very poorly and it doesn't really fit that well. I'll show you once I tip over the model. Oh, that door's gotten pushed in a bit. Initially I was going to have some sliding hatch here, but again, going back with the whole theme that this is supposed to be a lone wolf kind of vehicle, I decided just to put some view holes in and just leave it. Again, different parts. As if the front's been in a major collision and being repaired. Right, yeah, I think I'll try and show you the underside of this thing. Sure. Right, this is where things are going to fall out. It's more prevalent around the rear section. Oh, there we go. Fortunately, when I glued this on, I didn't realise the chassis was actually twisted, and so you can see the gaps. And obviously, I need to touch up this section here because this hasn't been painted. But as you can see, the gaps here and here, it doesn't really quite fit, which was my biggest concern when I was putting this together. Put this here, try not to break it. I'll pop the hood so you can kind of tell there's ammo belts connected to the machine guns. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to focus here. And that's just me dog. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't really want to focus that well, but you can tell more armour. Again, you can kind of see how bad the chassis fits just by the engine bay, all the gaps. Probably won't really display this with the engine done, but I put a little bit of weathering on there just for the sake of it. Right, I'm going to open the doors now. As you can see, completely new interior door skin. Not too sure if I can get the interior and all that well. I've got some pre-production photos to show you the buttons and stuff in there, but they're not all painted, regrettably. I don't know if you can notice there, I'll probably shot in what you call it, some dials and some buttons to activate the rockets and such. Yeah, and then obviously going back to the rockets I was talking about, these do actually can be moved out. The idea being is at some point when I start animating with these vehicles, I can animate the rockets flying out, but for now they just look pretty. Again, the idea is that you've just matched rockets you can get your hands on to use. Obviously these are used as a last resort as opposed to the machine guns. So yeah, I think that about does it for the Hammerhead. Do a little slideshow with some better pictures, and then yeah, that'll do.